Call meeting to order. We'll start with pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bill? Dale? Arnie? Yep. Larry? Yep. Arlene?
Yep.
Jackie, everybody's present. Any additions to our agenda? If not, looking for a motion to approve it. Larry's made the motion. I have a second. I'll second it. Arnie seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Any corrections to last month's minutes? Not looking for a motion to approve them.
I'll make that motion.
Arnie's made that motion. I have a second.
I'll second that.
Dale seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Treasurer's report, Ron.
All right, at our last meeting, our checking account had $280,218.05. We earned a dividend of $72.11. Checks at our last meeting totaled $14,935.87. Electronic transfers totaled $164.80. We had a deposit this month of $41,747.71, which is our gas tax. Which, well, I'll tell you that in a minute. Okay, reconciliation checking account at the end of January showed $275,813.48, less the checks not cleared of $10,619.99, plus the deposit not cleared of $41,743.71, for a balance in that of $306,937.20. Money market account had $55,387.79. Earned a dividend of $42.34 for a balance of $55,430.13. Our share account remains at $36.09. Total monies in the township right now are $362,403.42. So I was kind of curious about the gas tax. So I just ran myself a little report earlier today, like where did we start with gas tax? Well, 2009, we got our first gas tax check for $12,839. Today, I got notified we got another check of $41,743.71.
Coming?
$41,743. So just a little tidbit.
Just a question on that deposit under the checkbook.
It shows $4 more.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's because of the $2 filing fees that went in. Yes. Good catch, Jim.
Count for every penny on it.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the treasurer's report? Not looking for a motion to approve it.
I'll make that motion.
Dale made that motion. I got a second.
I'll second.
Joe seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks for bills.
Like the first month go. Good. Get no mailboxes and it's not.
I banked a couple.
No, that's okay.
I stopped, I put my police card in, I had the guys call, they call me back the next day. Well, good, well, no, it still holds mail. Good. You know, whatever, it was, there's just a couple of little dingers where it was, I forgot my wing.
Yeah.
Or
Then wiggle a little bit.
You find any that are too close to the road? What's that? You find any that are too close to the road? I'm sure they're all too close. Yeah, there's quite a few, you know, I really never really thought of it until I started around in snowfall, but I really appreciate the swing out ones. Yeah. It's I can just make it look so nice, you know, I can get my wing fits underneath there, and it just all looks real nice. But then guys that have the fancy mailbox made out of their 4x4 and whatever else that, you know, they only stick out this far.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to have a 3-foot pile of snow over me because I don't want to get close to it. You know what I mean? Whereas the speedway ones, if I cup it, then it swings a little bit, right? So, you know, so I don't know.
He can snow, you know, he can snow hit them, then he will
Right.
get closer.
The roads look really good.
We have
Yeah, good job.
I told Tuffy I had 2 people approach me and ask if we've got a new snowplow driver. And I told them that, yes, we've got, Tuffy doing it for this year. Both of them really liked what he's done, so.
Yeah, no, I just, like, I guess everybody told me when you drove around, showed me around and stuff, said, just treat it like you want, like it's yours, you know, every road is yours, so that's what I try to do. I like it clean, you know. As long as you guys aren't barking down my throat to speed things up, I'm gonna move it off, make it nice.
I had one guy, he asked me why it took so long, and I said, well, he's not gonna start until the snow stops.
Right.
And then he starts over by, Alcott, over by Stock Lake, and he works his way over this way. And, you know, when he gets to it, he gets to it. Okay.
Don't live on a county road once.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know, one of the first times I was out falling, I didn't really get instructions to follow all the roads, so I hit just the top. I was there hitting all the tar roads, and that just, it really messed up the schedule or the road. And had a long time. I
You're
get that,
doing a good job, keep it up.
I get that it's probably nice for all the tar people, well, my big residents, yeah, the tars first, but it had a long time. So.
Well, it's easy to forget that when we used to have the county do it before Hurricane did it, all the county roads got plowed after it was done snowing and they were clear. Then the township roads got plowed. So it was sometimes 2-3 days before we get plowed out. So it was a long storm. So anything is better than that. It's good. So it's been good. And it's hard too, you know, our policies plow 3 inches or more, but one day you get 1 inch, you plow, no. The next day you get another inch, you plow, no. But then the next day you get 3 inches. Well, now you should have been out there. Well, yeah, it's not until.
Then we get home and phone calls.
Right.
Oh, that guy ain't out there plowing that.
Right. Right.
And please them all.
Yeah. On this road, it's, if you don't hear anything, it's probably good news.
And if you hear something, it's usually for people that don't know what's going on anyway.
Very quick call.
I didn't hear that.
It's okay.
It's a good thing you got a sense of humor.
For a motion to approve the bills,
I'll make that motion.
Joe has made that motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Dale seconded, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
President comments, item A, Little Birch Lake. Thank you.
That's you, right?
You're up, Rod.
Okay.
I gave you copies of, from you, what I'm looking to have consideration to vacate this walkway. Kind of go through the pages that I gave you. So it's highlighted. This is a 1908 plat. I checked with the county. This is the current one that they have. The second page basically blows up the wording because it's really hard to read. It's still a little bit difficult. One of the problems I see with what they did currently is in the paperwork, they say this pathway does not cross any wetlands. And on my edge of my property and my neighbor to the north, it's wetlands. Now, it was 100 years ago. There's been erosion and stuff. Not even sure where this pathway is for sure. I had a survey done, and the surveyor told me, I didn't get the copy yet, told me that one of the markers is out in the lake. So I know there's some erosion there based on that. How far, I don't know. So they put new ones in. The third page is the Lucy edition, and that shows it again. And then it's with all the signatures, and then I have it blown up again for you. So I'll just kind of go through some of the issues I see on my property and for some of the other people. The neighbor to the south of me had about a year and a half ago, actually Marlene's husband Dale tore it down, but there was a 16-foot boathouse there, which basically would block the entire pathway. And it was made of wood, so it was 60 or 70 years old. So that's been blocking it for a long period of time. And then there's no public access to this walkway from land. You can't get to it without crossing somebody's land. Another issue is, as far as I can tell, it's unmarked as far as visually. There may be markers all the way down on the corners. My surveyor said found some, but I don't know if it's completely marked. And then another issue is in the fall season, that whole area down, there's approximately 40 properties. There's boat lifts, you name it, lined up along that. Starting with my property and going south, we have hills going up the back, and then the furthest properties to the north, up by Kachimba's Point, where it ends, they have a steep hill too. So that pathway would take all their flat land away. So that would mean if you're going to have that pathway there, they would now have to drag everything up above. I have a 22-foot hill to go up, so everything would have to go up for that area to be used. So that's a problem. It hasn't been maintained, so there's trees throughout the whole area on that line blocking. It'd be a weed to get through there, and we actually had briar. We cleaned some of that out, but it would have been pretty difficult to walk through. So those are a few of the problems for somebody to actually use it. The only access it would be from water, and even then, by the drawing, it's hard to tell if it starts a foot back or if it's the way they drew it, it's actually on the water's edge. I'm sure some of it, I'm guessing on my property, maybe 5 feet of it's probably been eroded away. So it'd be accessible from the lake. I have an old boathouse that the property I bought was Sullivan's at 10228 Almond Drive. And they had a really old boathouse, which they ended up redoing one. Another problem that I think could potentially be for everybody down the line is, since it's not an easement, it was donated to the public, that 15 feet would require a 10-foot setback by the county, which they're not. It's not on the GIS system, and it's not coming up. My title company never mentioned it to me that I didn't own 15 feet of the land by the way it's set up. And they
How did you find out about this?
One of my neighbors mentioned that somebody way back used to walk it, and that's how he found out about it, and then he looked into it. And then I started asking some questions too here later when my surveyor came,
here a couple months ago or whatever. He was there and he's just finishing things up now and marked it, but he said, yeah, there's a path here, you know, when he pulled all the historical stuff. I mean, we're going back pretty far. You got 1908 on one plat and 1946, I think it is, on the other one. Let's see, a few of the other issues is, you know, the erosion, so you don't know where it actually is. It's not publicly maintained. It'd be just the owners that are doing it, what they do on their property. So that's a few of the reasons why I'm looking at it. I'm sure, and a lot of the people have no idea that it exists, because the title companies aren't saying anything. They say they look back for it. I don't know, in mine, they told me it wasn't on the plat, but there's only one plat, and that's current, and it's the one from 1908. So they should have brought it up when I acquired my property.
Did you know about this?
Mhm.
You did?
Sure.
There was a road, the Sullivans had there was a road through there. And you can see it right behind, they show the front part of the lots on that when it was first done. And that road, that was vacated. They went through the process to have it vacated. So that's been done, but nobody's ever addressed this walkway.
Yeah, good.
Mr. Johnson, can you at least orient me? I'm not familiar where you live. Where?
I'm about a mile south of here. So,
Little Birch?
yep, on the west side.
Okay.
I'm on if you're familiar with Almond Drive as it goes down, it turns into that kind of single lane road, down that property right there.
At the end.
Well, not at the very end, it's before it goes to a single lane. The county maintains it up to
Right past the.
Township.
Yeah.
the mailbox section there and
To
then,
the end where we maintain.
Township.
yep,
Did you know where I used to live,
A
Joe?
bunny trail.
Okay,
Past there and then down.
yeah, I'm just up to the north end of that.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious how many residents to the south of you,
goes all the way down,
all
to that whole road.
All the way out.
That starts with number one and then it goes right up. It looks like it ends right on the edge of Kachimba's start of their land. And they created, when they first set up all these lots, the neighbor, Don Sunquist, the one that's found out more stuff, I guess, he's been around here longer. They created this path with those lots. But nobody's paid attention that it's there. And I think originally Ward Springs, from what I understand, the city was what was of a city, was down there, and there must have been access coming in from the number one lot right to it. But there's no access now. So if the public wants to come and use it, they can't get to it without going across somebody's property.
Does the walkway extend south along the lake? So the lots within Stearns County would also have the same walkway, or?
No, it's all in Todd.
So the walkway doesn't follow the lake, but it starts in Todd County and.
Yeah, it stays right on the shore, but if Almond Drive comes out and then it's a little ways down, that's where Stearns starts.
Yeah.
That last lot's right on this side
That's
of,
the first one with the walkway.
yeah, from what I can tell.
And how far is it supposed to extend north here?
Well, that's close to a mile
That's
long.
where you start.
Okay.
It's quite a way, 40 properties.
Any opposition?
None of my neighbors that have any issue. I mean, the problem for the owners is technically somebody can drive up from the lake and park there and have a picnic on your lawn. I'm sure if they knew that, they probably wouldn't be really happy, but that's the way it is right now. But being able to actually walk it, it'd be very hard, especially in the fall. I mean, you're just gonna be like this, but it goes, my neighbor to the north, the second one over, they're really close to I mean, you're literally the 15 feet's right up on the edge of their doorway as you walk by.
So at this point, then, the county is asking if the township has any opposition, or how does this go forward?
So what would happen, and it's a little bit different because it's a path, so I have to clarify that, but I did check in with Matt. And, you know, so we could, the board could determine by resolution to approve vacating the path if three things were possible. And that is if the path was established more than 25 years ago and it hasn't been improved or maintained in the last 20. And then number three, if it wasn't recorded.
Yeah,
And that's a
which is
zinger, it's recorded. So then if that's the case and it follows along with vacating a road, then what we would need, there's a process, we would need at least 8 voters who own land within 3 miles of the path on a petition. And you would need to bring that to the board and present it to the board. And then we would need to set up a road hearing, the board would. And then you'd have to post that and send out a mailer to all of the petitioners, the 8 or whatever you have on the list, letting them know about the hearing. So there's a process for
Right.
that. So it's a
Yeah.
little more in-depth than just a simple, we're gonna do a resolution next month's meeting.
I have the information for a road vacating in the section. You got like 30 days, so, I mean, at this point, we're just trying to bring it up and then kind of figure out how you want it and us proceed. You have a petition then that we could,
I can
together.
I can get an example, one that followed that Matt, Minnesota Association of Township has for an example. I just thinking, Rob, though, we should probably verify that a path is treated the same way as a road
Yeah.
in the township. Because if you don't need to go through this whole process, because it's a walkway, it's not a road.
they publicly donated the land, so that's, which I take it as a road is kind of similar to some extent, but, yeah, it's how to.
So.
Yeah, I was wondering about that path thing, because I looked in, vacate,
Yeah.
stuff, and they said nothing about a path.
So
So
my-
is it the same or what?
My surveyor brought up, he said, when he does surveys, there's some other issues on the other side of the lake, I guess, or on another lake. But he said there's similar type things, and in Stearns County, they won't let you sell the property, they won't issue the title insurance with something like this on the property without it, fully identified and stuff. But he says it's causing problems in Stearns County because there's some similar type of problems. But
So go back to what you said, talking to the attorney, you said those 3 things are to what?
So if those three things all were true, then what the board could do is at next month's meeting, and we could just publish that at next month's meeting, you're going to do a resolution to vacate this particular road.
I understood all that, but when you came second, that you were kind of saying that if he checked if this really wasn't, this, what the township is, if it's a path or if it's a road.
No, if it's a road.
So it's not a road.
So we haven't really found out, I haven't asked if a path, I just looked up, I thought it was a road, I guess, I was thinking it was a road. So, I don't know what
There's not really a path.
state,
It's just,
they call it a walkway, and the first 2 pages, that is it. I mean, this is, when they created the lots, they created this, and
So let's find out what the ruling is on the path before he moves forward on the petition, because if he doesn't need to do it, then why chase that and why open a bigger can of worms if you don't need to? How does the board feel?
Yeah.
Get the ruling?
so maybe what I'll do is I'll reach back out to the attorney at Matt, clarify it's a path, see if it's this, if he says yes, treat it like a road, then I'll send a copy of the petition example to you, Rob, so you can start working on getting that from at least 8.
so I know you need 8 signatures, that won't be a problem, but would you prefer, I mean, we can take a little time going into the summer to do this, but would you prefer to have everybody's signature that's attached to it? On that, or it doesn't matter?
isn't there, if somebody opposes it,
They would come to the hearing and voice their concerns,
You would still need.
and then the board would have to make a decision on whether or not they're going to move forward with it.
I would imagine if it comes to that, and it's not a lot of work for you, just get a few more, like, I mean, the more the would be better, I'm sure.
I think you
Then we
get
got
100%.
something to go on,
Yeah.
of all of a sudden, you get 8 and we get 5 people that are against it, then we gotta kind of weigh it
The
out.
problem is for the group of them, you know, I'd say probably 40% of them live up here year round at it. So, I mean, I can access them now, and go talk to them, and have them contact some of the others. But in the summer, as we move into the early, on the weekend will be a time because everybody's got to be served a copy of it.
Doesn't matter to us.
Everybody stands to benefit, but I mean, it's been going on for well over 100 years. I mean, a few more months probably won't matter.
Yeah, no, on that, it just, what's the process, and
They serve,
You know,
they serve in mine.
it looks like, I mean, the first part of the petition we could probably do, but I'm wondering, it says on the thing, they got pretty strict guidelines and on what's gotta be done, that's probably gonna have to get an attorney involved a little bit on our end to make sure everything's done
I don't think
correctly,
you have to go
or
that
can yours
far.
verify that?
Yeah, I don't think you have to go that far.
You may need to amend your title.
I think all you really need to have is
I
the,
know it's on mine.
Yeah,
but
but-
it wasn't on my title.
What the county said, or when I talked to, the lady there, she said, depending again how it's, but if it's like a road, they'll issue, and file it, it'll go on all the properties that it's been vacated, or there'll be a specific one, but it'll be attached to all those properties.
Any other questions on this? Anything more from you?
So you're gonna check into it?
Yeah, I'll see if he still needs to do that, and then if so, I'll get you the form so you can start working on collecting petitions. And then the board won't act until you bring that back to them. But if it is a thing where, well, no, we can't do it the other way no matter what, because it's recorded, so.
I had her look into it, she couldn't find anything showing that it had ever been vacated in any way, so it doesn't appear that there's anything like that already done.
Keep kicking again, move forward.
Okay.
Good, everybody good?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item B,
Is Ryan Becker here?
Yep.
Okay, you're next.
All right, I don't know much about it, but, I think it's Main Street that runs north and south, kind of just up the road here, looking to close it, so I can purchase land on the other side. I don't know how to go about that.
what are we looking at?
Okay, can you describe, are you talking about here in
Yep, right
Ward
up,
Springs?
Amarillo Road. There's a street that goes north and south. I live, right on the corner up there.
Does that come out by the church over there?
Yeah, it'll come out behind the church, I do believe. I think it's called, whatever, we got a little bit of information, looks like Main Street is what's listed at.
Is that going back to the church?
Yeah.
Didn't we vacate that?
I was just gonna say, did you check it all with your recorder's office if that's been?
I have not, no, I don't.
Did we go through that?
I thought we vacated.
I thought we did,
Right.
but I'm sure it would have been the entire road, wouldn't it just been?
I think we did one past Coons House.
Yeah.
Went up all the way up there. I think we vacated that east and west around the church. But we didn't vacate that, but the other part.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We're
You should
going
check.
back to the church.
Yeah.
Is, I mean, if it would be vacated, would we landowners that, assume the property then?
Yeah, it goes back to the original owner.
Property owners, because we just had a survey done, and it's still showing that that's still a road in there, so.
That would have been within the last couple of years.
Yeah,
Engelmeyer did the survey.
And I'm sure you would have it recorded.
recorded with the recorder's office.
Because I think, he wants to buy some land too, so he's gonna benefit from this, but I do believe when you went up there, you said.
Yeah,
they
they talked
said-
to, Todd County Planning and Zoning, and
Do
they
you
said
remember
that,
who?
what's that?
Do you remember who we talked to?
I don't remember the gentleman's name.
Tall guy, bald head.
Taller, kind of younger guy on the skinnier side.
Adam?
Yeah.
It might be him.
Okay. And he didn't
He-
show that it was vacated?
No, he said that we needed to go through with closing, that roadway there. Because the property that we're looking at buying, we want to split a little chunk. And, the property's not big enough to get its own parcel ID. So we have to do a property line adjustment on our current property line. But in order for him to get half of it, that road's gotta be closed.
Let's check in to see where we're at on the road then.
Do you have, the legal, like, do you have any description or that you presented to Adam at planning and zoning? Or you just found it on the map with him?
He just
and
found
looked
it
at
on
it?
the GIS map for
Okay.
the
Okay.
parcel number.
Even Inglemark should have a recording of that.
Yeah. What is your name, or should I call you, or should I?
Josh. Simic, S-I-M as in Mary, E-K,
What's your telephone number, Josh?
218-232-4188.
Okay. 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 I'll talk to Adam tomorrow after I pull up what the township did, because we believe it is already vacated, so we have to make sure that it's been recorded.
And you probably want Ryan's also, Ryan Becker's.
And Brian would be part, okay,
Ryan, it's Ryan.
right. Should I give you a call too, Ryan?
Sure.
Or
we can talk,
you'll talk to, okay.
whatever.
And your last name is Becker, right?
Beckers.
Beckers. Okay.
Well, we can do it for you, because I think we've done it, but if not, we can work on it. It's not used, right? I'm thinking it was just,
I have no idea.
There's nothing there.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be a road that goes right through the creek.
that was around the church and stuff we did.
Yeah.
We'll look into it and check it back, so we should be good.
We didn't vacate that road going to the cemetery, but we did one of that.
Yep. Pretty sure we did. She'll get back to you.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you a call.
Township, road reports. Joe, Elcott?
Yeah, so a few updates on Alcott. Last month's meeting, we talked about having the engineer come out to a meeting. I spoke with him and he said that he'd be here at the April 25th meeting. So we can I notified one resident from Alcott who had asked already, but we can let everybody else know who'd like to be here on the 25th, and he'll answer all of our questions. Or at least attempt to. I also spoke with post office. Still waiting to get in touch with the postmaster just about mailboxes. We had some questions about that, as did the engineer, about grouping them, moving them all to one side of the road or the other, or the logistics of it. So they're checking, and I have to be in touch with the postmaster, but some more to come there. Certainly we'll have more by next month. The last update is I spoke with not only the engineer, but Deja about our grant application. All the details need to be in by March 1st, so I provided the bid that we got from, and the plan from NBC. Need to get the final plan from the engineer, which I will also provide, because he's given us a proposal for the road, but not for the culverts. And there was a lot of discussion between NBC and the engineer, but it was agreed upon, it just wasn't documented from the engineer's side. So need to get that, give that to Deja. She said that after March 1st, it'll be put into the queue and they'll have a meeting by the middle of the month to award grants. And she will reach out after that too. So those are the updates.
Thanks for the update. Anything else from Joe?
I would like to add something. I talked yesterday to Dale and Arnie about Angler Drive. The culverts were frozen again, and there was a big puddle of water going over the road, probably for 2 or 3 houses from Angie's down past the line. So I got a hold of Tom's Refuge, and they came out yesterday and steamed it. So it's open now, and it's doing good. It's not refreezing or anything.
Thanks for getting that done. Anything else?
I was just, did you see my email today?
Yes,
Joe? Okay.
I haven't had a chance to reply, but I did. So, yes, the engineer will be here on the 25th of April.
Okay,
And your other question was about,
DNR road,
oh, the
Grant.
grant application, yeah. I don't think it would hurt necessarily.
okay.
We've got time, right?
So, remember a couple of years ago when we applied for the grant funds for Angler?
Mhm.
It was the DNR State Road Park account. Well, I just happened, I was reviewing grants the other day and I looked at it and I thought, okay, we based that grant that time on the state park. But honestly, the grant says that it also is for roads that lead to waterways like lakes and rivers and recreational areas. And I thought maybe it would be worth checking into applying for it for Alcott.
There's no specific, it's not an access on it, but it's a road that leads to a road that leads to an access. Where the drive? And the worst they can say is no.
Right, and I mean, we already have all the preliminary work and that the grant requires from WITSEF. So I thought maybe we could reach out to WITSEF.
I can send you the wetland delineation report and I
Okay.
can send you the proposal that we have currently.
Do you think we could talk to him, the engineer, before April, because the
Yeah.
deadline, I think, is the end of March for the grant? And see if he'd be willing to, just if there's any pieces we need for it. We
Yeah.
do need a letter of support from Town County Engineer, so we have to reach out to Lauren, but
Sure.
if it's okay for me to just kind of check into it and start pulling it together,
I think it's a good idea.
that'd be awesome if we could get that.
Yeah,
So I've got a question. You know that little skinny little piece of land is that township property there? It is not. Okay.
no. The one that got foreclosed upon, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's not ours, but we had the option if we wanted.
I remember that. I didn't remember if it was like,
If I got
sold
It got sold, if I'm not mistaken, the neighboring
okay.
landowner bought it.
Yeah, it got sold.
I just thought if it was,
That would be ideal, right?
Oh,
then we've got access to the lake.
Jackie, I can coordinate a meeting between you and I and Tracy.
could you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, just, maybe he has experience with that and he'll be able to let us know if it's worth it.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things, like, if you don't ask, he's not gonna offer it up, but if we ask, then he'll be like, oh yeah, there's also this grant or this one you can apply for.
Okay.
Yeah, I can coordinate that, maybe later this week.
Okay, that'd be fine, yeah. They have, $5 million to give, and last year they awarded 12 roads. So, we haven't gotten one in a couple of years, that's been a few years. So I figure it's time for us to
Doesn't
ask
cost a whole
again.
lot to get her done, so
Yeah.
move forward. We good? Moving on to unfinished business, postcard mailer.
Okay, so you all should have a postcard, just the copy of it on your desk. Those are being labeled as we speak, and they'll be going out in Friday's mail to all the residents, reminding them that the annual meeting is coming up on March 11th at 8:15 p.m. So you'll probably all get one in the mail too, but you can have this one too.
Thank you, Jackie.
It's good. Update inventory list.
I did make copies for everybody just because we had talked over this last month, but to the wonderful assistance by Marlene and by Dale. We're pulling together the inventory in here, and then Dale did the whole shed and around the shed and everything else we have, and sent that to me and I compiled it. So now we have a new updated inventory list. And there's a copy of it on the table.
Did you find a mole strip, Bill?
Okay. Okay, item C.
Okay, Marlene and I'll maybe let Marlene take the lead on this, but Marlene and I, of course, were meeting, preparing for tonight's Board of Audit, which immediately follows the meeting, where the board will be looking over all of the books for the year and taking a look at our accounts. So we have been discussing proposed budget for next year, and then also setting the levy for 2026.
So, when Jackie and I were talking about this, we had kind of, between the two of us, felt that maybe we should not have an increase this year in the budget, because we have, for the last 3 years, we've increased. And it just seems like maybe the taxpayers are getting hit hard enough right now. So I worked it up. I mean, you see what we have actually spent. In revenue, 79,839, fire, 22,787, road and bridge this last year, 280, 483. So this is this gonna be the first year, or is this the second year we're getting the bigger amount? It's the second year we're getting the bigger amount,
All coming in.
because of the proposed levy. But we're thinking if we leave it the same levy that we've done for last year, and I did not change any of the breakouts, because we felt that those numbers were pretty much in line with what we're spending. But we did find that we have, right now, like in our general fund, $259,000 are earmarked as general fund. In general fund, like last year, we paid $80,000 out. So Jackie is gonna do some checking to find out how we can move the money from one fund to another. So that, and you've done that?
I've done that already.
Excellent. Okay. And then also our gas tax is really road and bridge money. You know, we could add that. So long story short is our true road and bridge balance right now is really 268,000. And then we're looking at adding in the 385, you know, for this year, 385 for next year. So we're going to be building on this. You know, I'm thinking that, I don't know, unless you feel differently, but I just feel like maybe we shouldn't increase it unless you want to, you know, go for a few years in a row increasing before we, you know.
How safe do you feel with what we have?
Well, here's where I'm thinking, Larry, is that if, number one, if we get a grant, woo-hoo, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't get a grant, no matter what happens, we're gonna have to bond. So it's like, okay, if we have to bond it, well, then we've got some payback time on that, you know. It's not like it would have to be there right now. We will, no matter what, we won't have the money all saved up and ready to go for the project in 2026.
Can we make the bond payment, the estimated bond payments that we had kind of estimated, we can make those to still run the township?
I would think so, yes.
So, just a couple of questions. So revenue fund is the same as general fund?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So it looks like here we have a deficit in our general fund of roughly $30,000, but we have positive in our road and bridge proposed of about 100,000. I'm looking at what we actually spent this year versus what's in our proposed levy. So it's 280,000 of what we actually spent in 2024.
Yep.
But our proposed levy is 385 if we stay the same.
Yep.
So, or for next year. So basically it's $100,000.
But I think, I feel like this year we had something bigger happen that went out of revenue.
My question is, if we have $100,000 each year.
Yep.
And things remain the same, how many years will it take us to pay a $1.3 million project back in a bond?
Yeah.
And then not getting too far ahead of my skis, that's for one road, and we have other roads within 10 years that'll probably need something else done. I'm not saying we need to increase it, I'm just trying to do the math of payments.
No, I hear what you're saying, and
To be honest, I was gonna vote no on the raise this year, so
that vote for me would be a no anyway. Do we hear any more scuttlebutt about that stuff coming down from the state to the counties?
You mean cost?
Well,
Yes. Yes. I mean, if you're talking about overall, that the state is gonna go into a budget deficit in 2026, yes.
pass that down to the
That's
counties?
certain. So that will be passed down from the state to the counties, and the counties will struggle to not turn that through levy to the residents.
Okay.
And that was partly something we talked about, is worry about that as well. And then you see all of a sudden the line saying Birchdale's going up on theirs too, but we also have to determine that we have enough money, so, you know.
We're moving forward with the project, that's why I asked, that's like Joe's point, but,
Do we have any details on the bond?
Jackie, you'd given me a number a while back, no, you didn't.
No.
You had, no,
I had reached out to an organization called the David Brown Associates. You mean that?
you had given me a number on, maybe I'm confused on what we're looking at is about what it would, and if you back to my stuff, about what we would have for income. I have to go back and research it again, but I know she was looking at the bond stuff, but you had come up with a number of what you figured we would have or estimated money, that's.
Yeah, I mean,
But we just need to get a little more information. I don't want to cut it too tight, but I mean, I mean, there was one gentleman that was in here that comes numerous
Yeah.
times. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, I get it too. It's just.
I mean, you know, like I said, you guys you can do what you want. 268 is what our true balance is today in Road and Bridge, 268,000. So, you know, we're still gonna have projects. So let's say that our projects for the year didn't exceed the 268. That would then leave us like 385,000 in there. But is it possible they could? Well, heck yeah, it's possible. I mean, everything is going up.
Well, you feel it out for another year and see where we're at, or get some more information. I was kind of looking at the numbers a little bit going, you know, we gotta be, you know, a little bit fiscally responsible too, sitting behind this desk, and, you know, we always say to the taxpayers that, you know, we gotta cut back on something or block something a little longer or whatever else, but, we've done a really good job of cleaning a lot of stuff up and got a lot of expenses done, and hopefully we can build on, spend a little less over there and have some money left to make these payments, but.
Right.
Let's just keep looking at the numbers and, but I suppose we gotta, at the next, we gotta make a decision here at the
We have to
next
have,
meeting.
yeah, because for our merch.
We'll just put up for a vote at that time. I mean, it's, you know, we'll talk about it some more. I mean, that's kind of where we do it. We talk here and we talk with the public and kind of get a direction.
So we leave it the same. The proposed levy that you see in the very right-hand corner or the right-hand column would be without any increase, okay?
The 458,000.
Correct.
That'd be the same as what we did last year.
And then you can also see, you know, I did the 10-year comparison, you know, highways, streets, and roadways, you know, there's a lot of money, you know, that was spent in 2024 in that area.
This is you said our second year that we've gotten money from 3 years
Gotten
of
the increase.
increasing it. So
Yes.
theoretically, this year.
Yep.
Residents will still see it, all of us included, will see an increase on our taxes from last year that
Yep.
we haven't realized yet.
Correct.
And I should correct, I didn't find out how we transfer funds, like from our revenue to our, road and bridge. I believe you do that through resolution at the board, that you can move money from that fund. But for gas tax money, Matt recommended that whenever we start the year and we're doing our road work, that we spend our gas tax account first and spend it down to zero. You don't transfer.
We don't do that though.
Okay, he just recommended that.
Okay.
Start by spending your gas tax money
Yeah, spend it after you get it.
for road work.
Yeah, well, and see, that's why right now we've got like in our gas tax fund, you got $286,000 in there.
So where's that fund down here?
It's included in road and bridge.
It's a subcategory. Really.
It's actually its own fund, but we never spend out of it. So I think if you could find out if we can, like we had discussed, at the end of the year or after, even after, because we always get the gas tax the beginning of the year. So we've just gotten $41,000. Can we by resolution move that $41,000 into fire and bridge?
Into road and
Or
bridge.
into road and bridge?
Okay.
I thought that's where you said it was now.
Well, it really is earmarked as road and bridge, although it's in its own fund. And I don't know why it's in its own fund.
What do you mean, you got two funds in one?
It's just not like
In the accounting program, every time you spend money, you have a fund and you have an object that you spend it against. Well, the fund is the overall, like the revenue or general fund. You've got the fire fund, and then you've got road and bridge. But road and bridge and gas tax are used for the same purposes. That, you know, we could just as easily, I suppose, at the beginning of the year, everything that comes through for road and bridge, put it to.
That's what the attorney wants us to do. He said, start paying
Well, makes
all your
sense,
road
yeah.
expenses off of that fund.
Instead of having 3 milk cans, just have one.
But you still gotta keep them.
You got
You gotta keep
okay.
them, but you're supposed to spend down your gas tax money right away for any of your road work. And then once that zeroes out, you jump over to road and bridge.
Oh my goodness, okay.
That's what he said. I mean, you don't have to zero it out, you can bring it down to almost nothing and then jump over to.
So maybe you could still find out if we could, because there's so
But
much in there right now.
Yeah, and then also that we move money out of general fund into road and bridge.
Right.
That I think the board has to do through resolution.
I do too, and I think we talked about that before, because when we originally set up the CTAS system, there was a formula that was used that divided the monies in the township, because we didn't used to have different buckets for different things. It was all just, you know, one place that
bucket.
came out of.
Right.
But now we have to kind of designate that it goes to the various areas. So that's why the general fund seems a little bit top heavy because of that formula, and it's just always been like that. So, you know, now we're definitely keeping it a little closer to the vest as far as, you know, what we're recommending, because we would have $50,000, even knowing that we spent $79,000 last year. But in years past, 50,000 has been plenty.
Well, just a question on your 10-year comparison report. So every category on the left seems pretty clear. I'm just wondering, what constitutes highways, streets, and roadways? Because when looking at it, everything kind of makes sense, except we have quite a bit of variability in 10 years in that category, and I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, I saw that too, Joe. After I looked at this, I'm like, I am not sure if that was the full amount. I've got it here though. So, highways, streets, and roadways.
Let's just go up.
Oh, okay, so 337,000 is what was spent last year. 153 of it on brushing. No, that's 23.
You just run it right out of CTAS, right?
Yes,
How our bills
yes.
were paid.
And I'm not trying to be critical, I was just trying to understand, because, you know, snow and ice removal sand and salt, that makes sense. You know, we have a snowy year, we have more than the year preceding it or the year after. Crack filling, also somewhat variable, 2020, we haven't had crack filling on Alcott, that makes sense.
So Knife River, what did we have them do for us last year?
They did, that road down by my place.
Okay, so that was $64,000 of it was that.
That was that, okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yep, and then we had, the next big one was Woodset.
Yeah, okay.
No, okay, that's.
So between those two was almost 100,000.
But then the residents paid for all that there, that's what, so that comes back. Should I
Sure.
cancel out you?
Yeah,
go
but
back
it
into-
still shows as a cost.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
Okay, no, that helps, thank you.
So we have some information that we can, study and bring to the annual meeting as board members and meet with the residents and figure out a direction. So, any more questions on this for tonight, or do we wanna look at it and bring it at the meeting, or how we say?
That seems reasonable.
They're pretty good.
We'll correct that, yeah.
The mileage for this year is
I
70
was
cents a
gonna ask you
mile.
that last night.
What's that?
The mileage for this year is 70 cents a mile. That's the federal standard.
I'll get that changed.
Thank you for the presentation.
Absolutely.
Information is good. Item D then?
Okay, next item, we tabled this from last month, and that is to go out for quotes on crack filling. Last year, we sent the form to Aztec, Precision Roadway, and Midwest Asphalt. We felt like last month it was a little early to send quotes out to the crack filling. So thought maybe we would do that maybe tonight instead. So we just need a motion to approve the quote going out and to those three companies, Aztec, Precision Roadway, and Midwest Asphalt.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second
I got an email from somebody that does asphalt stuff. Birchdale Asphalt Company, did we ever do anything with them?
Is it on the Belgrade?
Anyway,
From Asphalt?
Yeah.
Should I add them, Jim? Are they from?
well, I did,
Birchdale?
they just said if we had any asphalt needs or whatever, I didn't, thought, well, if we've used them before and knew about them, or haven't used them, or whatever else, it's up to the board.
I know we never have used them.
So I just wondered, do we want to, and so let me see, we offer sealing, fog sealing, paving, patching, striping, crack sealing. Up to the board. Do I add them to this or not?
Did we get, of the three that we sent it to last year, did we get all of them to respond to us?
I can bring out,
I was just gonna say, one of them,
hold tight.
they haven't responded to us, then maybe we have them.
We're getting three, that's good.
Yeah.
Crack filling, sealing, striping.
Chip sealing, fog sealing, paving, patching, striping, crack sealing, liquid sealing, spray patching, infrared patching, concrete inspection.
What's fog sealing? Only like this morning on the.
That's the white line on the end of the road.
So last year it was rewarded, or it was awarded to Precision. And we also got one from Aztec. And those were the two. But I did get an email, or I think all of you did, actually, I'm glad we looked, a company called Jet Black. And he emailed, and they are out of Alexandria and Brainerd. And they would be interested in our business. Patrick Herzog. So last year, Aztec and Precision responded. And then we got this message a few days after we awarded from this Jet Black.
I guess I'd suggest we send the Aztec Precision Strike Midwest Asphalt and either go with Jet Black or Bertram Asphalt.
Matter to me what you wanna do.
Where's the,
I couldn't say.
phone number? 322, so it must be Curly. You sent him this one. Yep, yeah.
What did you say it's called?
Is it Bertram, like the town Bertram? Oh, okay, Bertram with an E. Okay, and the email is bertramasphalt@gmail. Okay. Got it, Bill
Oh, they're
Bertram.
from Painesville.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Painesville, Hutchinson.
so go ahead and go to Aztec Precision and Bertram Asphalt out of Painesville.
Do we need a new motion for
I believe Arnie could just call for an amended, maybe on
Yeah.
that.
We'll just add the other one to it.
And Joe, you had seconded?
that? I'll second it.
Oh, okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next item, or the next three are actually come up on our calendar of events. The next one is, quotes going out for grading and blading of our gravel roads. Last year we sent to Mayors and Herdering responded. So just on these, we just need motion to do that again, or was it something different?
You,
I want to get into blading, but I need more experience. So I want to work with her. And I had talked a little bit with her about doing that, and he's kind of a little bit, and hopefully that turns out to be a good deal. And I would like to do more and more, eventually all service for Birchdale Township. Which brings up my next question for you. I don't know if it's okay to bring up now at this moment or not, but I would like to bid the mowing of the ditches.
well, that will be coming up.
Yeah, I believe that's at, I can double check it for you.
Mowing, oh, for town hall.
I see
Not-
mowing town hall on
Not your mowing.
Yeah, this is different. The mowing is, I think, next, is at the, March meeting.
Okay.
So if you,
Well, we know you want, so we'll just have,
Yeah.
we'll send you out a proposal,
Yeah.
you're asking.
Do you want, for the blading, do you want to be sent a proposal or not yet?
At least that way I know more of the requirements and numbers that are.
So is there kind of on the fence what he wants to do with it?
No, he still wants, see, his biggest thing is he doesn't want to lose the gravel, but he wants to keep selling the gravel, so close, he's got a gravel, I don't have gravel, so, fine, whatever. And he's a great guy, he's got money, and he's like, well, I got plenty of graders, so I told him, like, well, I can't justify buying a grader to do all the servicing of this township. So I got a lot of graders. I just don't, I have no experience grading. I don't know why, but it's always been a passion of mine to get into a grader. I don't know, I've never done it. Just be more than honest. And, so I don't know if I can, you know what I mean? I don't want to.
We'll figure it out.
Work with him.
Yeah.
So basically then we were gonna just send it to her, but now we're gonna.
send it or, and to Greg.
Yeah.
Should I send one to Mayors? No.
I've never heard back.
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
See what they-
we still need a motion on that one.
I'll make that motion.
Joe's made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Dale, second, all in favor? Aye, opposed, motion carries. Lawn mowing for the,
Town Hall, last year Weston Van Haverman, did it. And that's the only person we sent it to, just because our other lawnmower kind of had said he was out of it. over a year ago that was, so I just have Weston. So just,
Looking for a motion?
yeah,
I'll make that motion.
Dale,
Second to Weston.
Dale made that, and Larry seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried.
okay. Last one is gravel. Last year we went to 3 companies, Herdering, Tool Construction Company, and Central Specialties.
We can cross tool on the list.
Take Tool off.
I'll make a motion to send it to Central Specialties and Bird.
Joe's made that motion, I have a second.
I'll second it.
Arnie seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried.
Okay, the next item, this is kind of just a discussion that sort of tags on even to what, with our budget talks, but it comes up on the calendar of events, and I don't know that there is anything. It's just to keep in mind, are there any thoughts on road projects for this coming 2025? We already know we're gonna be doing some of the repair work on Alcott. Is there anything else that the board foresees? for-
We have money, we spend a lot of money on those.
Okay, spend a lot, no.
So, I guess I have,
Fixing the bumps on all of them.
That needs a whole new road then.
I'd like to circle back around to a couple of things we've been talking about for at least a year, if not a little bit longer. One of it would be reclaiming our gravel roads, the shoulders. The grass is just encroaching. We've had water problems every year. In fact, we've got it again now as it's melting. So that would be one of the things. And then tied in with that water drainage on the roads would be the project we discussed a year ago and then last summer that we got an estimate to remediate the water problems on Alcott, Blue Spruce, 245th, 130th, 114th, and we had discussed Ward Springs here, but I know that's a project that Deja also may have funding for, so that one I'm maybe more comfortable waiting and seeing with, but that would be the other project that I would like for us to plan out or at least consider doing.
So those 5 was that, Joe, is Deja's grant gonna cover those others besides Alcott?
So there was, Alcott was its own thing, and there was a separate grant with you,
Renee?
with Hank down here, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we might have those covered under grant monies.
But Blue Spruce, 245th, 130th, and 114th, there was no funding for. Actually, we did 114th this year, so that didn't come off the list.
Okay, get back to what Joe was talking about, the gravel roads, or ditches around the edge of the road are higher than the road. So now when it gets heavy rain, so everything goes right down in the edge, and it's basically a ditch, another culvert.
On our culverts on these roads are 6 inches or less off of the shoulder, so there's nothing to reclaim anyway. It's dead drop down to the culvert 3-4 feet. In other cases, 7-8 feet down to the bottom of the ditch.
I think we have to sit there and get top of the roof and have them lay those, all the gravel roads in early and get that thing, all the crown to it. And then you can sit there and go around, if we have to little gravel on, we can. But now, we get heavy rain and just washes out the roads on the edge. And
I think
no place for the water to go.
I think we'd be surprised. We've been graveling a lot. I mean, look at the 10-year look back. We put a lot of gravel down. I think if we built that crown up and got the water flowing off of the road into the ditch, Cedar Lake Road, that hill that we did off of 35, it's a perfect example. There's no shoulder. It just runs right off into the ditch and flows nicely. When we have a heavy rain, there's no washing. I think if we pull those crowns that we've got on both sides of the edge of the road back, and build the crown on top of the middle of the road where it should be, I think there's probably enough gravel on the road already that we won't have to put anything down. we'll have to see, but I certainly don't think we have to do much this year, if we can just get it pulled back.
My thoughts are, I think Joe should bring this to the annual meeting. We have Elcott Drive that I'm kind of working on, but it's something that needs to eventually get done. I don't see where we have a lot of work going on this year. Maybe some of these projects we could move forward with.
Well, another one is like Gary Raring over there.
Yeah.
We was
Yes.
kicking that thing around for quite a while.
Right.
Talk with the residents, pick one, get that done, see where we're at budget wise, see how things are moving
Yes.
forward, gather some more information, looks good, we don't have any bad weather or other problems that we have elections, and pick the next worst one and just kind of keep whittling at them. There's always gonna be something.
Yeah.
You've done the homework of tell us what needs to get done, and then we just gotta start picking away at them. I don't have an issue with that. I'm just not a big fan of grabbing them all and going and then figuring out how to just find more money to pay for them, so just keep weeding away.
Arnie, what was that one that you just said at the end that we've been?
245th.
That 240.
Oh, okay, that's on the list here.
Yep.
Okay.
I think that's a good suggestion, Bill. I mean, I think we've been spending we've done a lot of work on all of the roads over the last 6-7 years. We've been talking about Alcott for the last couple, and we've been doing other things, but, I think it's also important to residents that we're not putting all of our eggs into Alcott, that the other roads are just as much a priority.
Agreed?
I agree.
Okay.
Okay, so we have it on the agenda for the annual meeting, so I guess I can bring it up and discuss it then, the estimate that we have, which I did confirm still stands at least for this year. Was there anything else on the roads from anybody else? Not to take the agenda, but
That estimate still stands for Alcott, right? That repair.
No, some of the other ones, he's got an estimate on doing this other work.
as I understand it, for right now, the Alcott estimate and the other ones still stand.
Okay.
Subject to change.
So that's where we're talking about digging out where the frost boils are, redoing.
Yeah, that was this one, which came in right around 60,000.
Did we voted to okay that?
And we confirmed last month to go ahead with it as soon as, if the weather permits, that could be tomorrow or 2 months from now.
So what was that one?
That was 60,000 for the work itself. That's quoted between 60 and 70,000. Obviously, it's dependent upon what they find when they get in there, of course, but.
And what road is that?
Alcott.
Elcott.
Todd County is gonna help fund some of that,
None
not that one.
of this. This is just the problem frost boil areas.
Gotcha.
The culverts that Todd County is doing is something totally separate from this.
Okay, are we good?
Yes, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Moving on to item E.
Okay, E you can cross off, well, actually, no, you can't, sorry. E is just talking about the agenda, and I did create an agenda for tonight, that was on our list. Thank you. And, basically covers what's on the postcard following our, I don't have it in front of me, but anyway, you have a copy of it, yeah, thank you. So, just that we're gonna go through the township road report, talk about upcoming road projects. I was gonna bring up the broadband update for Birchdale Township and then talk to the residents about filling out the application for the line extension. I did find out the state of Minnesota has put that on hold until the fall. They hope to do another round in the fall, but residents still should apply for it and get on the list. And then the regular parts of the agenda are all otherwise the same. Going through the budget, the levy, and then approving the time for next year's meeting. So, is there anything additional we should add, or is that pretty good?
I think it looks good. Yeah. It's pretty
Okay,
comprehensive. You do the same as what we always talk about. Thank you.
okay. Should I just keep going? Okay, We received notice of the local board of appeal and equalization meeting for Birchdale Township. The date is set for April 15th at 9 a.m. The notice will be posted in the Sauk Center Herald and Long Prairie Leader, and will be posted on the Birchdale Township website. And I just realized I don't have that prepared for the board tonight for your review. What I can do is I can bring that to the March meeting, and we should still be okay with posting. So I can do that for next month, but that's the date and time.
Item G.
Okay, item G is something that Supervisor Bearshade had asked to be put on the agenda.
Okay. Yeah, a couple people talked to me about changing the time from 7 to 8 in the wintertime months, because I guess Birchdale Township and Birchdale Township, they both went to this here, October through March. So I said, I'll bring it up to the board and see what they think, if it's good, bad, whatever.
I'll go with the majority. I don't care.
I know wintertime it gets kind of dark and late, and Jackie's got a bad trip to Melrose.
Well, no matter what in the winter, it's gonna be dark at 7 o'clock. It's not gonna matter if it's 7 or 8, it'll be the same dark.
I wouldn't mind going.
I'll go with that.
So is it something we just have to post a
One more,
month or two ahead?
we may need to bring that to the annual meeting.
I don't know why, we can, I mean, but
It might not be a bad idea though to bring it in front of the residents and just
Well, let's do it.
ask them to vote on making the change.
Here's my thoughts. I'm okay with that. I mean,
Okay.
Joe, like the previous, you got clients and stuff?
Right,
I'll make it
Yes.
work.
you can make that work.
they won't bother you any for
So you
farming and stuff.
change your card?
no,
No, that won't change. Well, because we would need, because this wouldn't occur till October at this point.
Right.
Like, we would make it till effective October 2025.
But if you're gonna bring it up at the annual meeting.
You just-
All for agenda
Daylight
items?
savings time town board meeting? But that, is it just basically daylight savings time town board meetings?
And what's that? That could be, yeah. Let's see.
Okay. I think just to best bet would maybe to be, bring it to the annual meeting and vote on it there.
sure.
Okay?
They're not gonna do the consensus of what we want to do anyway, so,
Mhm.
but I would bring it up. Thank you. Anything else? Good? Informational items?
Okay, we had 3 items that came in. First of all, we received a notice from the Todd County Auditor Treasurer's Office. It's something we get every year. They're basically going to be asking for the list of our officers after the election on the 11th. And then they'll also want to know what our levy will be set at. And that's something we send in by March 31st so that they can go ahead and document that. The next item, and I shared this already with Larry and with Dale, the ditch inspector, Nancy Eulenkamp, stated there'll be an annual township and city weed training, April 29th at 10:30 at the Browerville Community Center. And then last but not least, we received a brochure on spring short courses, and I have the brochure here. I believe, did everybody get that? Oh, you did, okay, good. So if we decide if any of us wanna drive together or go together, I think there's one at Alexandria and St. Cloud.
When is the one, for Alec and St. Cloud?
St. Cloud's is March 25th, and Alexandria's is the 28th.
Yeah, a couple weeks, I think you said.
Okay. So we'll just coordinate.
Anything else on the board?
I have a couple things. Just want to talk to Greg about, cleaning ditches. I know you have an excavator. I don't know how much wood you're looking for. But I mean, we've sprayed some ditches and looking for some mulching. We had hired a guy and was real dissatisfied with him. I mean, is that anything you'd be looking to potentially go towards, or?
You do, some kind of mower that he had, or something maybe a little better.
Well, something on a skid loader, I mean, with the,
Oh, yeah. You, looking to mulch?
Yeah, two or 3 inch trees maybe, that they would, right, Dale?
well, that, like I said, Greg has an excavator, I know, Bart, NBC, they have a machine where they can put on, I mean, what are you looking, or I mean, would you be looking at going that direction, or?
Do you have any of that equipment?
Yeah.
I do not have that equipment. I can clean ditch, and as far as getting into mulching ditch with the skid loader, I would entertain that. I could get into doing something like that fairly easily, but once you start talking about me getting a mulcher on the excavator, that drives the dollars up too fast where I can't.
And my second thing is, board can chime in too, but if you're interested in being our go-to person for, say, storms, we have trees down and stuff like that, that we need cleaned up, where you'd be interested in entertaining, putting a bid in on that. So if we need a go-to person.
Yep.
So.
Yep, what are you thinking that way? So you want a bid for me to clean up by the hour, or?
What's
something like
It would be an hour and one equipment, so you basically you'd have to have some kind of plow or grapple bucket on a bobcat and a dump truck or something to put stuff in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Chainsaws.
Yeah, I got,
Chainsaws.
I have chainsaws, I got, thumb and grapple on my excavator, I got grapple on a skid loader, I can.
Why don't
Clean up.
Why don't you kind of figure out what would you be in comfort with, so much an hour for you plus X number of dollars for the skid loader. That way, what way you would like to have us bid it, send you a bid.
And then also, say we have somebody where we have certain areas of the road to be cleaned up, figure something like that too, if we want something done.
So basically, an hourly rate on your skid loader with a grapple or your excavator with a grapple and dump truck use, so. And then we can designate whatever work we wanna do, but just, by the hour, but
Yes.
I like that. And then we've got a source that somebody's here and then probably quicker response from somebody that's working to do also township stuff, like the sewer. Would be a good adventure to go that direction.
Yes.
Good idea. So, it's just,
So,
Is that covered under my current insurance?
did you have to find out from your insurance company?
Well, for me to be working on your roads is what I'm asking,
If you have insurance to plow the work and work on now, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I would check with your insurance company to make sure that this is what you're doing.
Not that I unload my excavator on the shoulder of the road and it not be a covered thing, that's not what I'm concerned. I'm covered for my snowplow truck, I know that.
But you would have to probably add some of this other stuff. And look at that so you know what your costs are gonna be.
Right.
and another thing, just curious, when we send out bids for stuff like that, must be coming pretty soon.
So are you thinking, Dale, because when I was listening, when you talk about,
Well, like Hoffman Tree Service, stuff like that.
Oh, okay,
They
like-
send us,
yeah,
do our
brushing
and stuff.
and mowing, I have to double check, I believe it is March. And we certainly can send it to Greg for brushing.
April, brush cutting,
Or April.
ditch mowing in April, brush and weed spraying in April.
We got a little time to get some numbers together and stuff, so
Just kind of
then you'll
heads
have
up.
your numbers in place when we send them out.
The ditch bone is pretty straight out, 6, 8 feet out, unless we're gonna go double strip, but.
Anybody else, Jeff?
No.
Anybody else have anything? I'm gonna adjourn this meeting and, so I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Joe made a motion, Larry second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Thank you all for coming. Thanks, Robbie.
Yep, I got a number for you. The lady said I can help you out, so. County. So, Kim Basel,
Good job.
that's her number. You just take a snapshot of that.
We'll call the meeting board of audit together.
She works on
All the checks
the
signed.
recorder.
Yes.
So she has the official records, you have access to them, and, she's really nice. So stuff, so if you, when you talk to her, make sure you have the identification of the lots and stuff, so she can pull it right up, and she can tell you pretty quick, and she'll send you, like, these guys, she'll send you the
Classes.
file information or whatever,
Oh.
showing the stuff, and then she would be able to look up potentially if it was ever vacated. She should be able to find that if it's attached to it anyway. That might help you some.
What do you guys maintain for roads? Is it like street, housing street? Is that how that works? Or are you, like this road out here,
Yep.
county, right?
That's township.
Is that you guys?
Yeah.
So when Almond Drive goes down, it turns into that single lane.
Yep.
So,
Down by your place.
yeah, it's not wide enough where it's
Yep.
part of the,
That's not a township.
okay. So,
We're township till the cul-de-sac.
yeah, I mean, it stops there. I thought it was the county. So what is that? I mean, it was at one time it was like whatever, but it's called road or.
It's a cartway or something,
Yeah,
isn't it?
right. Because it doesn't have the 30 feet on each side, it can't,
We
it would have to be changed over that point, but there's no way to do that because it'd go right into their houses.
But the years ago, when I first moved down there, we just redo that road. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, oh, I got you. Okay.
I don't know, I called him. What else we have to do?
Okay.
And then, you ever hear the storms down at the other end? A lot. Right when you drive in from the south end there. Yeah, fence up there, gate still fast.
Oh, yeah.
In there. Yeah, that gated off, fence all the way down.
And then I have
They
the,
took it to court.
Yeah, well, they have speed bumps in there, I mean, it's still considered a road though.
Oh, it's a private drive, I mean, there's public, I don't know what they call
Yeah,
it.
that's what I've been trying to figure out, is it considered,
and then
It
you've
was
got your
a-
schedule.
county has it, the
Yeah.
only reason, or it's not maintained because it doesn't meet the criteria. As long as it doesn't meet the criteria, they can't add it in, the 30 feet, but, so,
Oh, that's okay.
It's getting a
That way,
little rough
at least they
shape.
can see
So,
that my
do we
copy
need
and
to-
your copy
if I
matches.
can get the owners down there, do we need to treat that more like an HOA type deal? Privately maintain it, or
Mhm.
that's how you?
If you wanted the township road, you would have to hire somebody to bring it to township specs.
Yeah.
Well, there's no way it would happen, because the 30 feet would go into,
Yeah, 66
People's
feet.
houses
Yeah.
and garages.
yeah, so if there's one tree that leans over into it, I mean, people hit that. and I'm just wondering how to, basically, we just need to create something between all of us and try to maintain the road. It got tore up pretty good last year. When they did that house, they run some pretty heavy loads in there. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Robbie.
Have a good night.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, say hi to Mary. She's coming, she's working for the election.
Oh, good.
She'll
That's
be
all?
here on the
I
11th.
thought she was gonna be here working.
Oh, she's gonna be here and she's gonna be, yeah,
Yeah,
that day.
work her over good. All right, we'll see you.
Okay. Okay, so what we're handing out, or Marlene already, she handed out, I think, the treasurer balanced sheet, and then mine is circled clerk. So you know that I ran my report out as
Give everybody
tax,
a copy.
okay? So we had to make sure that each of our fund balances, like we talked about earlier tonight, general, road and bridge, gas and fire.
Can we get the other one too?
Yes. I'll make a copy of this.
And so that's when we talk about the buckets. There's the 4 buckets. And when we have different numbers on the ending balance in those buckets, that means sometimes that, we coded one of the bills wrong with one of the account numbers in CTAX. Because remember, I put them in initially, and then Marlene's on the back half putting them in. And that's the dual control. She's going in under disbursements, I'm going in under claims or bills. And then basically I'm working independently, she's working independently.
No, that's the new printer.
Is the new printer work?
Yeah, I don't use it.
It's a good thing we got.
Okay.
This is your copy.
Oh, thank you. Here, I got one for you too, if you want it. I don't have, I don't have it right in here, okay. And then the other part of that then would be, I think you handed out the disbursements.
Yep.
So again, that's kind of the second half of the program.
Yep.
My half is this one, these are the claims or bills, okay? So what's interesting is I take the bills and I put them in and they're numbered with a claim number, right? Well, the check number is what the actual check that's written out, the number on the check, that's actually what the check number is. Claims is just a number that we assign it randomly, okay? I probably talking way too much about it, you guys know. Okay, so basically, you should be able to look at this claims list starting January 1st, 2024 to the end of the year. And you should be able to go through and go by the month, and you should be able to go into that bill file, and they're all labeled by month, every year, every month. And you should be able to match up the bill and find it in that folder.
And then you should be able to also find it within the reports here. By the check number.
So to do your due diligence, you all should probably pull some and look at the bill files. So I can spread them out here for you, and you guys can, let's see, you guys grab a couple sheets, it looks like, maybe I'll give a couple to you down here. They took the front end of the list. Okay. Here's some. Okay. So, mine is what you pull is from the claims history. And here is a couple months.
January 24.
That's January.
There's also receipts.
We got
February.
You need February?
No, we don't have January.
No, that's.
Here's January.
But we don't have January.
January.
Okay. Those are nice.
Yeah, that's okay, we'll just take them out.
Yeah, I can move those down over there by now. Here's January, February.
What do we got? April.
Okay.
We don't have that either.
So Robbie's the pilot.
3
Yes.
anyway.
He's the pilot. He flew all the stars around
Yes.
Los Angeles, and I wanted to ask him about that, but I didn't think it was appropriate. Who did you fly around? I'm trying to remember, because I got some that one time. Yeah.
Does one of these files got the receivables?
Receipts, you want receipts?
Receivables, so money that we took in.
Yeah, but we need receipts.
1396.
So I've got the receipts list right here. And these are, I mean, this is a mess, but if you
We should be able
are looking for one
No,
specifically.
no.
to.
Okay, I could give you the actual hand receipts.
Oh, yes.
I even have those, I have them all right here. Yeah.
4911.
So you do keep
That
them?
was
when
a
it's
March.
empty?
Oh, I keep them every year, they go right in this file. Oh, God, yeah, I never throw them away.
88.
Heck, no. I line them all up and make sure they're in numerical order and, yeah. Am I not missing one?
Yeah, I voided one today.
Did you? Okay. Well, look how many checks I voided last year. I had a bad run there, that one month. I did, I like 6 of them. I went, what the heck? Mr. Dayton Bruner.
2017.
Is it purposely coincidental that the claim number and the check number both begin with the same digit or 2 digits?
They did at the beginning of the year, they pretty much were right on.
Yeah.
And then somebody, and then they're not on at all anymore.
I mean, it'd just be nice if they were filled with different or exactly the same.
They should be, you know
I feel like
what?
I'm dyslexic.
They're
looking
so
at
I
it.
agree, it's messy.
Yeah.
We should make them exactly the same. Every time I print a bad check, like say the printer prints front to back, that's immediately I'm off. Now all of a sudden I'm off kilter, right? So it would be nice for them to be exactly
Well,
the
man,
same.
you got more than me here.
Maybe we can do that.
Well, it would, you know what, it would be, I think, it would be easier if you made it opposite. That's right, and you're always gonna have a mistake, but if you make them opposite, so they don't even match, then it's, because now you got a claim and you can put a claim with a check number instead of trying to get stuff that's trying to match, because it's never, you're never gonna.
You're always gonna fall,
You're gonna
yeah.
have checks that are rewritten and whatever else, and your claims are gonna be, stay the same.
Yeah.
I would think that would make more
Is
sense.
there, like, when you do your claims report,
Let's go 4930.
can you pull a report that shows the check numbers on it?
You mean for the
For
bill
the
file?
month? No, for the month.
Oh,
I'm just thinking because I always take receipts for the claims list. And I always have to put in the check numbers
yeah, I
because
know.
I need the check numbers when I put them through.
The problem is Norman, CTAS is run, it makes me run the report that the supervisor signed.
Yep.
Prior to the check numbers being entered. In the order of things,
Okay,
Oh, it's shown over here.
we talked about this.
and then there isn't a printed report.
Oh, that's.
Because even tonight, I've got those check numbers before,
Let's do
I-
4943.
so that I've got them right for next month.
Right.
You know, and I was also thinking, we should set up, you know how we have, a fund for like salt and sand? I think we should set one up for Elkhart Merchant.
Oh,
So even though it will go under road and bridge, but
yeah,
we can easily pull that together.
like a subset,
Yes.
under,
Because then,
Unless you wanna go-
Joel, kind of pointed out,
yeah.
hey, you know, we got this big difference. And it's like, yeah, we do, but here's the two things that we did.
Yeah.
You know, that's why-
Maybe under the fund, so you go road and bridge,
Hey Jackie,
fund, and then next thing. Yep,
okay, here.
we got, you
the
can find
check
it.
from some-
Eyeball
No,
one?
I don't have another, we don't have another page here. Okay. 4938, but then you got other stuff.
Okay, let's take a look. Does the month change? No. So this is the month of April. And you've got 4938 with this reimbursement for tire.
But that's what sucks.
And then what's the next one? Long Prairie Leader.
That's it.
Okay, and it's not on the front page at all? Okay, here's the leader. Here's the leader. 4935. Long Prairie Leader, $108.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay,
and then what's the next one?
okay, so they're not really in order.
See, that's what's odd with claims. It's not clean like check numbers. Check numbers are always gonna be in order. Claims can be kind of,
Which one are you looking for? I was just looking for the next one.
We got 3
September.
7/22.
How did all the miscellaneous funds for that road project over there? Did we collection enough funds to cover our total cost, or what was the township cost in
You
that?
know, check number or?
Okay, okay, good, I'm glad are you asking about, ambling? Wonderful, because tonight I was gonna actually have you, I thought that I had you sign the resolution that night back in July. This was a long time ago, but I don't have a signature. All of the residents paid their 3,000. The total cost of the road to do it was $63,500. Every resident was responsible for $3,735.29. Everybody paid the money up front except for 3 residents. Carolyn and Randy Coughlin, Doug and Kimberly Evans, and Gerald and Lisa Rush. So I ended up reaching out to them a number of times because they did not respond to me. I finally got a hold of them. I said, because you haven't responded, what we will now be doing is assessing you on your property tax at a 6% interest rate over 10 years. And the auditor treasurer is ready for that. I've got the forms ready for the 3 families for their assessment. I just need a signature from you, Jim, on the resolution, because she needs a copy of it.
So that we was, again, then collected enough to cover the total cost, or was there?
Minus 3. So we paid 3.
They're paying, so
Yes.
with their payment,
Yes.
did this road project cost this township any money?
No.
We did something over there.
Did the shoulder.
Initial, yeah.
So who bought, who Sheriff's house?
Mike?
So realize I need you to sign.
Right.
Our election judges, Jackie, Mary, and Marty. County's ready.
You did right.
Tap down their property tax.
He's 61,
Thank
so
you.
she works for IT.
Okay.
They got one. But then you have to go down to cities 2 days a week. She was a.
Yeah, I think that's just gonna be cleaner, if we can set that up and then
3 kids.
even when we see part of it, because then we could
6, 7.
have a report that said this is what we collected, this is what we paid.
Yeah. We can do a lot more with adding account numbers. We just never have.
I think we should.
Because I think we've been like nervous to do anything additional in our program. We can get a lot more specific.
Yeah,
So when that money gets on their taxes, so basically they sell the property, that just carries on to the next person. So any one of those people have a potential tax to sell it, their thought process, then I can sell them next year or 2, and why should I pay that profit?
It goes along with it.
But-
So it would make very little sense to me for $3,000 not to pay that front unless you plan on moving in the next year or 2 and then think, well, let the next person pay for it.
but usually what happens there is, because that is a special assessment on their taxes at that point, when the closing happens, then that's declared, and then they have to pay it before it can be closed. So then if they don't transfer that to the next owner,
You're responsible for whatever.
right,
Or
they're
that,
responsible
okay.
for it.
It doesn't attach to the property, in other words. Okay.
That's like, what is it,
Yeah.
false? Because I'm thinking, why, I mean, it's just,
And why wouldn't everybody do that? No, but,
no, to me, it's just, for $3,000, why would you?
Yeah, what did they say when you told them that?
They said, both of them, the third one just didn't respond. The 2 said, yeah, that's what we wanted you to do. Artie probably knows them.
Who are those people? Yeah, I know all
They just said, that's what we wanted you to do.
Why, anything.
They said that to me. I said, you understand, because you didn't respond to my letter, now I'm going to be adding it to your property taxes at a 6% interest rate over 10 years.
And there was someone that said that's what they're gonna do at these meetings.
Okay, that's what they said, they messaged back, that's what we wanted you to do.
Total cost or the cost upfront?
3,700 and I think it was $35.
And when you break down the receipts
And just bought the property from Lake for sure.
into the different accounts, so you've got your settlement from the county, but then it gets split up into the different
Correct.
categories.
Correct. Those settlements are always broke out into three, because it's always property tax, fire, and road and bridge, or revenue fund, fire and.
Are these two, the Deckers and the other
Yeah.
kid, you know the other kid?
Get Josh Sinek?
Yeah.
Yeah, they live right across the street from us in the Steffel house.
Oh, he's the guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's a lizard.
Yep.
Got a real short little voice.
Yep.
I can't believe that wasn't recorded.
I can't either.
That's shocking to me.
I just think that, Engelmeyer got dropped the ball on that
Oh,
one.
you'll find
Well,
out.
we had, there were issues with him doing stuff before that too.
Oh, okay. What's the name of that road?
Main Street.
Main Street. It would have been called Main Street
Pretty sure.
in
It was platted out.
Main Street with a Ward Springs address or Ward Gray Eagle.
You'd have to look back at our records. to see if
Right.
it's
I thought it was an
Or was it Birchdale?
That's what I'm gonna do.
I thought it was an alleyway that we vacated behind the church. It didn't have.
So
a name.
not a street name.
Yeah, I thought it was just an alley.
Okay.
I thought it was a street.
It'd be nice to have a map though of all the roads that haven't been vacated in this town that will likely be coming up at some point. We looked at that once already.
Did they have a replacement yet for Doug Tom?
No, and they don't expect that to, we don't expect to fill that very soon.
For who?
Doug
Doug
Tom,
Tom, the GIS person from that county. Where did he go? Alexandria?
Douglas County, he took a job in Douglas. So they don't think it's gonna be hard to hire somebody that knows GIS software like he did. So they don't expect to fill it very fast.
He was good too.
I know,
Yeah, it was friendly and responsive.
yeah.
Have you posted it on LinkedIn?
They will,
Yeah.
if you know anybody,
I don't.
oh,
With GIS software?
uh-huh. I didn't mention this, the county's gonna switch to all horizontal 911 signs.
They are.
It is a done deal, it's already been approved. I saw a preliminary cost for Birchdale to switch them all, it comes up to, I have the exact amount.
So they're gonna switch in return.
I think the way that they're gonna do it is they're gonna switch it out as, okay, they're gonna give townships the option. Either you can, I had that somewhere, you can either just change them out as you replace signs or add new ones, or you could ask to have all your signs, replaced at one shot.
I guess you'd have to look at their quote and see if.
That's gonna run
This is July.
4,700 or 4,200 for Birchdale.
For all the signs?
It shouldn't.
Yes.
Same year unless then they're.
$4,252
Yes,
and
tax change or
38
something,
cents.
but really.
Considering we're gonna probably do it about,
Diesel change.
But that's just the blades.
Okay, yeah,
If the posts are bad, that's a $9.58 for the posts.
And then who does the work?
No, and this is.
Larry,
I think we gotta look closer at when we get the.
I didn't think so, I thought that was the county did that.
Yeah, we're gonna set the stuff.
So then do we have to pay the county for doing that?
Only for the signs.
Okay, if
they
they
pay the
replace,
labor,
they pay the labor?
do they?
Okay.
Yeah, there was no cut, but
And we should look at, and I've not seen their bills ever state that, so again, we have to look at what's the amount in that stuff when it comes to.
This is in the.
Oh, that's what
$200,
yeah. Because for some reason Candace at Public Works had given us a credit, or she had called me or emailed me and said, Jackie, you guys have a credit at Birchdale. Well, then, I didn't know how much our credit really was. So I just had that in there as a note to myself, hold off on paying.
So we have.
It caught itself up, and our next bill we got for one actually was.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, and then they applied the credit. So she did apply the credit, but
We're checking the bill, but we're not checking against the.
So when are the signs gonna be available?
well, let's see, things are a little bit bumpy now that Doug's gone.
Right.
And I don't think, Adam Osford is we're gonna let everybody know at the April 1st Township meeting in Clarissa, which by the way, everybody's invited to that. And they haven't decided how they want townships to let planning and zoning know. I don't know if Adam's gonna do a form or something and say, hey, townships, do you either want us to replace all your 911 signs at one shot? Or do you just wanna do it by sign? How do you wanna pay? For townships to all come forward and say, we want all our signs replaced, I think that's a pretty heavy lift for the sign technician, who just got hired with, Public Works too. So that falls on this new guy to do the sign replacement, and I don't know how much, I mean, that's gonna be a lot of work.
Who's the guy that was?
I think his name was Adam, and he took he moved up, he got promoted
Oh,
in Public Works.
that's right.
Adam Wilson.
Yeah, that's right.
So he left his job, and now his job was posted, and they just hired somebody for that job.
How hard would it put together an Excel spreadsheet that at the beginning of the year that we got our bids for everything, let's say stuff that we get done throughout the year. So let's say there are graveling or snow plowing X amount an hour. To do a spreadsheet every year, once you get in an Excel spreadsheet, we'll just change it to the year and add new numbers. Because we're finding a different rate throughout the year. And so when we get the bill, we're signing it, but we don't know, okay.
Yeah, it's hard to remember what we actually.
So as you know, like ditch mowing is this much an hour, we have a cheat sheet on our table, so when we're doing bills, we can look at it and go, this matches that. I mean, $200 on one bill, that's $200.
So they're charging a different rate?
Different rate, yeah. The ditch mowing from July to November. Now, it might have been in this quote that they had something to do with diesel, but the only time I ever seen that was on Herderings, where he would charge more for it. So, yeah.
We could do that, and we could even post it right behind you on the bulletin board.
Well,
All
it'd
of
be nice
our
to have-
contractors for
But
the
I
year.
know he did a double, some places he did a double one, but still that shouldn't make any
That
difference.
should be the
What
number.
just happened to
Heat, not
kind
the
of
rate.
looking at the rate and what's 140 and then 145, so. This is kind
Is
of,
that from July?
One's from July, one's from November. One's June and one's October, but I mean, a due date or invoice date, whatever you want, okay. It's something that we.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, then
Yeah,
it's another check and balance. I think that's a really good idea.
oh yeah, because maybe they.
Once you set up the spreadsheet, then the
they
next year
know.
you just punch in the new number.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Well, and then when we're both verifying we can also be checking it. You know, they charge us the right.
Let's start it with this year, since
Yes.
we're just beginning with our quote
I think
season.
that's a good idea, because otherwise we're just kind of blindly signing it, trusting that they're charging us what they said they were going to.
Well, and I just verified it, the numeric calculation.
That's what I do too, the number of
So it's
hours
not-
and
right.
the rates. I don't
Yes.
check rates against the
No.
quote.
Right.
I just never have.
Well, and some of the quotes we get, it's like reading hieroglyphics of what they actually built, to what they quoted,
Right.
and we've had that discussion when they submit quotes, but for something as simple as ditch mowing, it's this distance times this rate.
Yeah.
Or this time times this rate.
And some people, ditch, somebody that did her by the mile, so that way it's more accurate, he said. Sometimes they can sit there and put her second gear all day long, or else third gear all day long.
Right. Well, then that's just how we ask. To bid it.
Yep.
I like that, too. And I don't care if they go by the mile and could say, okay, we bid it at this, is it where it can change is how tall the grass is. Now, I'd rather see it by the mile and have a note saying, okay, the grass was a wet year and the grass was this tall, it's gonna take me longer to go that mile than it is when the grass is this tall. So there is that variable, but I'd rather have it.
Well, they have to bid it.
I think they usually charge by the hour.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it too, the way we can manage that is if it's by the mile, we just don't let it get so tall. And they have nothing to really. Because I think you're right, to Arnie's point, they could drive 2 miles an hour or 7.
And then here, this one, he makes that trip pretty fast because there's probably no ditch to the cut.
Right.
Everybody cuts their own ditches.
Right.
Right.
Good talk.
But then if it's by the mile,
Well, then he'd be making more money.
okay, because I would say, so he goes through an area that might be a total of 4 miles and you may well have drop his blade
Per mile.
3 miles per mile, yeah.
I mean, theoretically, he should still drive the mile, right? We have, 36 miles of
Yeah.
township road,
But would that be harder to bid? Because now all of a sudden I'm bidding it to mow the grass in here, I'm not mowing, now I'm getting my rate here and making good money, and I'm really making good money over because I don't mow nothing. So if you go by the hour, then that's not getting counted, so now that's.
Yeah.
right. Well, what it comes down to is how much do you trust your vendor?
Right.
And with that, there could be one mistake, or it's the first little straw in the back of the camel that tells you maybe we shouldn't trust them.
All the years that I was in business, it was a constant. It was just honest mistakes or not honest mistakes, but I looked at, I don't know how companies can have an input person if you're a small company, because I found tens of thousands of dollars of mistakes just by remembering. Can't do it anymore, but it was a time where you looked at an invoice and go, well, that's wrong. So then you research it and it was wrong. But if you don't, if you have somebody data entering your stuff, it's just like, and that's what we have with our federal government.
Mm-hmm.
I have a daughter-in-law that works for the VA, and they're over, and I kind of talking about this whole thing, and whatever. And I said, do you know that the company you work for is bankrupt? She said, what? I work for the federal government. I said, the federal government is broke. I said, so can they justify, just paying whatever? How come they're paying more than the general people? And I said, then the next thing I asked her, I said, they let all the new hires, basically the interns, go. I said, so do they hire? I asked them, do they hire to the list of what retires, or do we just keep adding more? Just, well, we keep adding more. I said, well, how many veterans do we have today? All you look at the World War II, World War I, how many less vets do we have today than we had? And now we're hiring that many more people to do the same. And did it nicely, she could last why wouldn't they check?
There's a lot of employees now that St. Cloud VA that stand out and not what.
But Jim, you forget that of my generation, it takes 6 of us to do what your generation wants. So, and the next generation, it takes 12. Just.
The layers from now, I don't know what.
But it was an interesting conversation, because she was okay with doing it, accountability, but
Did she do her? So my daughters both work, VA.
Yeah.
Did she do her list of 5 things?
Yeah.
My kids did too.
Oh, did they have to do that there?
Yeah, because they said, they told them it's coming late in the day. It said you don't have to, but it's highly recommended. So I said to Alex and Steph, I said, God, I hope you did it, and they both did.
Well, I just went to their supervisor, which again, the whole, my philosophy on that is, how do you run a business and give your employees the checkbook? I mean, how does that, I mean, it doesn't work, but you think it doesn't work.
I mean, the real
Hire a
world,
boss,
you
you
have
can't take care of
to
the check,
be able to account for the work that you do. You know,
Check
I
it
mean,
out.
Right,
we have to do that, we've got a software, and we have a meeting every day that we have to go through, you know, what's on the docket, what's gotten done, where we having some holdups, you know, whatever, I mean, and if you didn't,
I'm just saying it's a good deal that they're doing it, but it's just like, and Brenda's just like, you know what? This is a wake-up call for me, you know?
I worked for Fingerhut for 16 years, and every Monday morning at 10 o'clock, we had to have a weekly report of what we did the prior week. We had to put it on their supervisor's desk.
yeah. Yeah, the girls got, so we got the buyout email.
yeah, Lance did too.
Okay, but then 5 days later, Stephanie, who's kind of the manager in her department, said, we had a bunch of people taking the buyout, but they were a lot of the upper level people who they've been short-staffed trying to hire, including Steph and Alex's position. So interestingly enough, 5 days later, they got another email saying, oh no, you can't have the buyout. Your team is essential. So Steph and Alex both got that second email and said, no, stop. You're not supposed to take this. They weren't, they're young. My kids are young, so they're not.
Well, it's,
So interesting.
you know, ever since you take a scalpel to it, it's, some of these big investment people are dying, you just cut, and then we hire.
Yeah,
And show me where we need this.
yeah.
We're all talking to the choir here, but I mean, it's just interesting.
Yeah, it's, no, the girls, they say too, there's their mom, there's people around there that have nothing to do. So I said, well, that's interesting.
How do
She
you
said,
find,
oh, yeah.
how do you get a person in management that doesn't, that's willing to make those cuts?
Mhm.
You know, how does it?
I was at Boston Scientific and we had a layoff, and I think they laid off 30,000 people over the course of 9 months. And they said, I wasn't one of them that got laid off, but everybody said, oh yeah, the first 10% of people we lose are the ones that should have been cut years ago. And they were right. The first 10% of people were left, like, yeah, I don't know what they were doing here, other than taking up space. And then they kept laying people off because they had to trim budget. And then you started to feel it. And then people were doing 2 or 3 people's jobs. And the point was, yeah, you keep cutting the excess away until you get to the meat, and then you have to reorient a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you build back up. But they were right, first 10%. That was in a reasonably operating business. I don't know what the percentage would be at the government. They gotta expect it's more than 10%. But, you know, I'm also empathetic of these people because it's the first time they've been in an organization, many of them, where they've had a layoff.
Yeah, I was involved a lot, right around Christmas time. Fingerhut would lay off people because their peak season was over with. And so I would go in there into these layoff meetings, and I had to tell managers and human resources how much money they would save by cutting, you know, Arnie and
Your
Jim.
position?
Yeah, you know, whoever. And, well, that happened too. But I wasn't invited to that one. But,
Always a bad sign.
yeah, but there were, I mean, they would say, well, you know, let's lay Larry off. Well, you know what, we can't lay him off because, you know, he's, a certain age or whatever.
Are we done?
Yeah, that's,
I think
Good.
I make that motion. But, yeah.
You making a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
When they would do stuff
I'll
like,
trim it.
you know, it was always, you know, well, we've got 2